Because a lot of our people still don't get it.
That's right.
And the enemy plays on the fact, I want you to hear me, the enemy plays on the fact that he knows that he has deceived the whole world when it comes to the identity of God.
Yes, sir.
This has been the enemy's number one mission, to fool the masses of the people when it comes to the identification of God.
Reality.
Yes, sir.
And most people today, most people, when they think about God, that big finger that represents the lottery, it could be you. This is how people imagine God, as like a giant beam somewhere up in the sky, pointing a big omnipotent finger. And yeah, the finger is always white. That's deep as well. Or when they see God, it's a big bearded man, maybe a little bit like Father Christmas. And it's not an accident that he's called Father,
That's right.
as in our Father. It's not an accident that he is omnipotent and omnipresent, in that he can come from Lapland and traverse the entire planet in one night, giving freely everybody, all the children. And the song says, you better watch out. You better not shout. You better watch out. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Come on, man. Come on. Stop it. See, who are you talking about? See, only God has that kind of power. But now you've related God to this fat white man. And I know for some of us, we say, I don't think like that. I'm telling you, man, you got to understand what programming does. You got to understand how many of us are programmed and we don't even know it. And if you ask us, close your eyes and visualize God, I'm telling you, what comes up in your head is a white man. It ain't no black man. Ain't no black man. And for most of us, even if a man don't come up, then some invisible space comes up. There is nothing there. Because for most of us, we've been taught that, well, he don't exist. He's intangible. You can't see him. You can't touch God. God is just this. So when you're praying, what you're praying to? If you pray to nothing, how can you get something?
From nothing.
If we live in a material universe, how can the God who is responsible for a material universe, your material, I'm material, but he is immaterial? Think about it, beloved. Just think about it. If he says in the Bible, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. When I see you with your baby going down the road, you're pushing your baby in the buggy, and I come up to you and I look into that buggy and I look at you and I say, that baby looks just like you.
Same.
Likeness.
Image.
Your baby is the spitting image. Image and likeness is telling you something about the source from whence we all come. How can you have a father who is not a father? So they've deceived the whole world. So don't ever, I'm saying to the members of the Nation of Islam, don't you ever get tired of teaching our people the reality of God. Because our people don't know. They don't know. And even if they believe you for a minute, then they go back out into that world.
Yes.
And all the confusion and bombardment comes again. And before you know it, People are just demoralized. But we've got to understand, beloved, that this teaching that we've been given is so magnificent. Brother Jibril said that he heard these troops coming, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was there on the right, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was on his left, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, they're coming for me through him. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I'm going to read his words again, he said, first, this is in answer to Jibril, when Jibril related his dream vision to him, he said, first, it's a very profound experience that answers many questions for me personally, and probably for others as well. Because if you've got questions about the minister, and ultimately Sister Barbara kind of touched on it today a little bit, about the minister's imminent departure, you need to appreciate what will happen in the absence of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the absence of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Brother Ishmael's lecture last week and this week is talking about darkness in the absence of the minister. That darkness, beloved family, they're expecting an eclipse of the sun on the 21st of this month in America, which will cover something like 22,000 miles of America in complete darkness when this happens. But we're not talking about that kind of darkness, beloved. That's a momentary eclipse. But the darkness we're talking about, beloved, and again, Sister Barbara touched on it today, it's that darkness that enemy boasted in the House of Representatives when he spoke about black people, and he said, we have closed off every avenue of light to the mind of the Negro. Think about this. This is a Caucasian senator in the House of Representatives in America boasting that they had shut off every avenue of light to the mind of the Negro. Now look, beloved, I remember one day I was trying to get into London from where I live out in Slough. I was trying to get into London, and beloved, everywhere I went, there was traffic. I mean, it was a proper nightmare. And in fact, that happened also on 7/7 in this country. When those bombs went off and those 52 people were killed, we were out of town and we were trying to get back into London. It was extremely difficult. Everything came to a gridlock and standstill. Every road was impassable. Imagine every avenue of light, every possible way that you and I could get enlightenment was cut off by the Caucasians during slavery. Deliberately wanting to send black people into pure ignorance. Because that's what darkness represents. Where you no longer know that you're a human being. Where all you know is to work from can't see morning to can't see night. No pay, no rights, no ability to exert manhood or womanhood, no control over your own body. You are owned lock, stock and barrel by another person who determines your every existing moment. This is where you and I, this is where our ancestors are coming from. This is why when I look and I see a Darren, that's what makes my heart sore, because I'm saying, oh my God, look at what God has done. That's when I see the sisters in their whites, I'm saying, oh my God. When I see black people excelling in a world like this, you got to say, oh my God. Because it's not meant to be. It was never a part of their plan.